Good morning, students. Today you learn Unit 4 Human Resource Management. Lesson 9 Fundamentals of Human Resource Management. So, what is your first chapter? First unit is management. Second unit, financial security market, financial markets. Third unit is also a financial market part 2. And now this topic is Unit 4 Human Resource Management. Now we will say first what is mean by human resource. Human resource is an employee. Human resource is an employee in the organizations who are inevitable for survival and success of the business. So human resource is also one of the resources in the any organizations. One of the resources in any organizations. It's every organization is depends upon the human resources because human resources alone only they can success of the organizations. Okay, so the human resource is an important part in all the elements in the any organizations. Okay, important elements. Human resources is an important element in any organizations. Okay, what are the types of the organizations? Now we have two types of organizations. One is individualistic institutions and government institutions. So, okay, which one is called individualistic institutions? Sole trader, partnership, joint stock company, MNC, and some other government institutions is also is a types of business organizations. So in this, every you already know what is the meaning of sole trader. Sole trader means the individual invests the capital, uses his skills, and do the business, and then they hardly enjoy all the profits and bear all the losses. And then what is mean by partnership means? So partnership means two or more persons may join together, uses his skills and invest the capitals and share the profit or loss is a partnership. So what is a joint stock company? Is a group of persons. It's an associations of persons. It's an artificial persons. And also cooperative is a voluntary association of persons. And then MNC is a multinational companies. Every organizations they need for the human resources. So human resources is one of the important elements in every organization, and the success, development, growth of the organizations is depends upon the growth of the organizations is depends upon the human resources, effective performance of the human resources. So all the human beings are not a human resources. All the human beings are, I am one of the human beings. I am one of the employee in the organizations. So all the human beings are not a human resources. All the human beings are not a human resources. The persons, those who have required skill, knowledge and capabilities in accomplishment of both the individual goals and organizational goals. That person is called a human resources. So all the human beings are not a human resources. Those who have a required skill, knowledge, capabilities in accomplishment of both the individual goals and the organizational goals. So that person is a human resources. Okay, and you have here one definitions. Peter F. Drucker definitions. Whose definition? Is according to Peter F. Drucker defines. What is the definition of the Peter F. Drucker? So man of all resources available to him can grow and develop. So what is the Peter F. Drucker's defines? So man of all resources. So this human beings. So the man is also one of the human resources. Man is also one of the human resources. So man is one of the resources. So man of all the resources are available to him. Can these resources can grow and develop the organizations. So which resources are help to develop the organizations? Human resource. Human resource has to help to develop the organization is a Peter F. Drucker definitions. What is a Peter F. Drucker defines? Man of all resources available to him can grow and develop. Man of all resources available to him can grow and develop is a human resource definitions. Okay, and then what is the next? What are the characteristics of the human resources? Characteristics of human resources. So what is the next one is characteristics of human resources. So human resources is only the factors of productions that leaves. Human resource is only the factors of production that leaves. What is mean by factors of productions? So factors of productions is one of the input. What are the inputs? Men, machine, money, material. These are all the inputs. What are the factors? These inputs are produce the goods. The human resources or produce the goods. That is, the human resources is only the factor of productions. What are the factor of production is land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurs. These are the factors of productions. So land means is not only the properties, it's also the raw material is also to be land. Labor, workers, capital, amount of money, and entrepreneurs, innovators. So this is called the factors of productions. So human resources is only the factor of productions that leaves. And human resources created all other resources. Human resources created all other resources. All other resources. What are the all other resources? All other resources means that machines, materials, capital, money. These are all other resources. These other resources are created by the human resources. So human resources created all other resources. So next, human resources alone can think, act, analyze and interpret. So human resource alone can think, act, analyze and interpret. What is mean by think? He gives an idea. Human beings, employees or gives the idea to develop the business. And they have the activities in all the places. And they analyze. Analyze means they has to be check the organizations. And also interpret. Interpret means it gives success of the organizations. So that is the human resources alone can think, act and analyze and interpret in the organizations. And human resources are emotional beings. What is meant by emotional? I am the one of the employee in the organizations. So I have a laugh, cry and angry. I get angry. So that is called emotional beings. So human resources are emotional beings, and human resources are movable. So are movable. So one of the employee in the organization is one of the human beings in the organizations. The human beings are move from one place to another places. So that is a movable. Human resources are movable. And the next one is human resources is a short. It's called a human HR. Okay. So the human resources can work as a team. So all the persons are work as a teams. Otherwise, this is not success of the organizations. So all the persons are a harmonious relations with one persons to another persons. So it harmonious relations helps to achieve the goal of the organizations. So the human resources can work as a team in the organizations. And the next one is the behavior of the organizations are unpredictable. Unpredictable. What is meant by unpredictable? Unpredictable means is called understandable. Unpredictable means is understand because the behavior of the one persons or another persons are different in the organizations. One or different of the one persons to another persons. So that different behaviors has to be unpredictable. Unpredictable means is called understandable. One person's easily understand to another person's. So, and then what is the next one is the human resources has to be motivated either financially or non-financially. Every employees are expect for these motivations. So the organizations has to be identified who is the best performer in the organizations. They give for this, they provide promotions and also incentives and financial incentives and non-financial incentives they have to provide. And then next one is this human resources is also called here. So that's all for this characteristics of the human resources. The human resources are only the factors of predictions. The human resources has to give the next one is human resources give innovations and creativity. Innovations and creativity. What is mean by innovations? Innovations means is a changes, any changes in the organizations, and they have to give idea to success in the organization. Creative idea. This is possible only for the human resources and not for the other resources. So these are all the what are the characteristics of the human resources. So number one is the human resources is only the factors of protections that lives. So next, the human resources has been created all other resources. It alone can think, act, analyze and interpret. It is our emotional beings and the human resources are movable and it can be work as a team. Human resources is the behavior of the human resources are unpredictable. Unpredictable means is also called understandable and is a human resources can be motivated by either financially or non-financially and it gives innovations and creativity. So these are all the characteristics of the human beings and human resources. And what is the next one is significance of the human resources. So what is the significance? Significance means is the importance. What are the importance of the human resources? Significance of the human resources. Significance of the human resources. So human resources is industrial relations. Industrial relations it depends upon the human resources. Industrial relations is depends upon the human resource and human relations is possible only for the human resources. Human relations is also possible only for the human resources and the sustainable growth of the organizations. What is mean by sustainable means fast growth of the organizations is depends upon the human resources. So fast, every organizations are expect to develop the organizations. So the sustainable growth of the organizations is also depends upon the human resources. And also the human resources are manages the factor of protections. What are the factors of protections? Land, labor, capital, and the entrepreneurs. So these human resources has to be managed the factors of protections. So the human resources has to be utilized at all the levels of the organizations, all the levels of the management. The human resources, the employees has to be utilized. So employees has to be easily developed for the organizations. And the next one is it is only possible through or human resources are only effectively used in the organizations. Effectively used in the organizations. So without human resources, no industrial activities or human relations or any success of the organizations is not possible in the every organizations. So this is the significance of the human resources. And then what is the next heading is human resource management. What is the next is human resource management. Human resource. I already explained what is meant by human resource. Human resource is an employee of the organizations. Now, human resource management. Human resource management. So, human resource management in short, it's called a HRM. Human resource management in short, it is HRM. So, what is meant by human resource management? So, human resource management means the branch of management that deals with managing your human resources. Managing human resources is called a human resource management. So what is human resource management means? The branch of managements. The branch of managements that deals with managing a human resource. Human resource management means managing a human resource is called a human resource management. Managing a human resource is called human resource management. So, okay, what are the characteristics of the human resource management? What are the characteristics of the human resource management? Characteristics of HRM. Characteristics of HRM. So, HRM is a universal relevant. Universal relevant. So, universal relevance means it's a one of the universal. The process is one of the human resource management is a universal relevant concept. So, universal relevant concept means every employee's the skills, talents, and approach are varies from one organization to another organizations, but it has to be applicable to all the levels. So, the characteristics of the human resource has to be changes for one person to another person, but every organization has to be applicable for this human resources. And the next one is this is a goal oriented. So, what is meant by goal oriented? So, goal oriented means is a harmonious understanding between the each and every members of the organizations. Harmonious understands from the superior and subordinates. It has to help to accomplish the organizational goals. It is harmonious of the individual goals with the organizational goals. And then next one is it is a systematic process. Systematic process. So systematic process means every HRM has to be divided into two sets. They have to follow the two sets of functions in the organizations. What are these two sets of functions means is the managerial functions followed the managerial functions and operational functions. So managerial functions and operational functions they have to be followed. So managerial functions means is a management functions. So management functions means managing things and the human is called a managerial functions. Operational functions means in this protections activities is called a operational functions. So every organization has to be followed the two kinds of functions in the HR. One is for the managerial functions, another one is the operational functions they have to be followed. And this is a continuous process. Continuous process. So HRM is a continuous process. That is, it's a non-stop process at the end of the organization. So this process are not to be stopped. That is a continuous process. This has to be success of the organizations. Human resource alone only they cannot be success of the organizations. So it's a continuous process in the organizations. And then focuses on the developments. Focuses on developments. So how to develop the organizations? So the organizations have to be provided proper training for underperformers. The organizations have to be provided proper trainings and the best performers. They motivated the best performers. And also they can be arranged for their training and development programs. So they can be focuses on the development of the organizations. And then is on science and as well as arts. Science as well as arts. So this HRM is for experiment and observations wise. The HRM is both they have be for science as well as is called arts. So management is also be science and arts. This HRM is also be both the science and as well as it's a arts and is intangible. So what is meant by intangible? Intangible means we can't see and touch, but you can feel. So this human resource management is also to be a what is a required result they have to identify. So this is a intangible in the organizations. So these are all the characteristics of the HRM. What is meant by HRM means the branch of management that deals with managing human resource. Managing a human resource is a HRMs or human resource management. So what are the characteristics of the human resource management is number one is the universal relevant. Universal relevant means the characteristic, the skill, approach or varies from one person to another person. So this management, but it has to be integrated in all the levels. But it has to be applicable to all the levels in the organizations. And this is a goal oriented. Goal oriented means it's accomplished for individual goals with organizational goals. And it is a systematic approach. Systematic process means it has to be followed. HRM has to be followed with two kinds of functions. One is for the managerial functions and another one is operational functions. And this is a continuous process. This is a non-stop active test in the every organizations. And it focuses on development in the organizations. Provide for the proper training and development programs. And this HRM is also called a science as well as arts. And is a intangible. Intangible means we can't see and touch, but you can feel. That is intangible. So what is a required result is identify for this human resource active test. So that's all for this. What is mean by human resource? What are the characteristics of the human resource? What are the significance of the human resource? And what is mean by HRM? And what are the characteristics of the HRM? So thank you students. Read well.